हरये नमः। आदित्यस्य नमस्कारान् ये कुर्वन्ति दिने दिने आयुः प्रज्ञा बलं वीर्यं तेजस्तेषाञ्च जायते. So this video is about uttarAyaNa and the proper understanding as to when it starts. So if right now you're in your daily Sandhyavandana and other sankalpas you're saying Dakshinayane, then you're being a fool. You should not be doing that. You're being contrary to what you see in nature and what is there in the shAstra-s, especially the Vedanga jyotiSha. uttarAyaNa has already started. It started around December 22nd. And the proof for that is in the sky, is in your experience of the seasons, the temperature, the day length, the night length, and so on. So what is uttarAyaNa? uttarAyaNa, let me tell you with the aid of a figure. Let us see. Okay. So you know, the earth moves around the sun, and at some point in time, the length when it is in this position, marked as March equinox, September equinox, the length of the day and night are equal. So it is springtime. It is in the middle of the springtime according to me. And because it's neither too hot nor too cold in the northern hemisphere. So we are talking about the northern hemisphere of the earth right now. Whereas in December solstice, when the earth is in this position, the northern hemisphere receives less sunlight. The day length is smallest and the night length is the longest. And in the June solstice, the middle of summer, the day length is the longest in the northern hemisphere, because as the sun turns, well, you will see it later in a model. Okay, so let me look at other figures related to this. Okay, so what is uttarAyaNa? Let me open something else. So you see in this figure, so there is this figure here, what we experience in the northern hemisphere, anywhere in India, for example. During December, the point at which sun rises isn't exactly in the east. It is not here, wherever you look. It is slightly to the south. In something called, on a day called winter solstice, it rises at the southernmost point and it sets in the southernmost point. On the equinox, it rises exactly in the east and sets exactly in the west. Whereas on the solstice day, other solstice day, the summer solstice day, it rises in the northernmost point and it stays in the sky for the longest time and it sets northwest. So this is how the seasons change. Because the sun rises to the south, it has only a small time to stay in the sky during the winter time. Whereas during the summer time, because it rises in the north, it stays in the sky for a long time. So if you go to Delhi, for example, in summer, you will see the sun in the sky even at 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. and so on. So that's because of this phenomenon described here. The closer you are to the equator, the less the difference. The seasonal difference increases more and more as you go away from the equator. So this is the definition of uttarAyaNa. uttarAyaNa is when the sun stops rising to the south. When the days start in the length of the day relative to the length of the night starts increasing again and again. So the sun starts moving to the north, 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 north. So that is uttarAyaNa. That you can see in nature with your very own eyes. If despite seeing this, you keep saying uttarAyaNa in your sankalpa because of your misunderstanding of the Shastras, then it is something which you should correct. Recognize the fault and correct it. Now, is this all scientific talk, or are the Shastras unscientific? Well, it turns out that is not the case. The Shastras heartily agree with this understanding of uttarAyaNa. There is this udaharana from Vedanga jyotiSha. So I'm not sure who wrote this. Maybe it is shrIramaNa-sharmA, who will consider shortly. Let me read this out. यदा सूर्यः पृथिव्या दृष्ट्या दक्षिणे भागे अन्तिमे स्थाने प्राप्तो भूत्वा पुनरुत्तरां दिशां प्रत्यावर्तितुम् आरभते तस्मिन् दिने एव शुद्धसौरोत्तरायणस्य प्रारंभो भवति. I don't agree with this शुद्धस्य सौर शिशिरस्य because I believe it's in the middle of the shishira ritu. But anyway, barring that, I agree with whatever was said here. पृथिव्या उत्तरे गोलार्धे दिनमानस्य वृद्धि रात्रे क्षयश्च तस्मात् दिनात् प्रारभते. Exactly what I said. The days, the length of the day starts increasing, the length of the night starts decreasing on a certain day, and that day is when the uttarAyaNa starts. When the sun starts, the rising point of the sun starts moving towards the north. And this Vedanga jyotiSha being quoted here, for example, agrees with that. Gharma vruddhirapam prastha kshapahrasa udaggatau dakshinetau viparyasa, and so on. So the Shastras, this is just one quote, but there are plentiful Shastras which agree with the intention of the Shastras to reflect what you observe and feel in nature. And is this something just which so-called geniuses who look at the sky, who understand what is going on, who are able to read the Shastras follow, or is it something that everyone should follow? Well, it turns out that enlightened people of across sampradayas, at least in this particular case, whether it is the kAnchI-shankara-maTha, which is very praiseworthy for this reason, whether it be some mAdhvas, or whether it be some shrIvaiShNavas, some enlightened shrIvaiShNavas, they all agree that uttarAyaNa has already started. It doesn't start anymore on makara-sankrAnti day. So let me show you proof for that. Okay, so this is the kAnchI-maTha Twitter account. Okay, and there Surya-Narayana Puja was performed on makara-sankrAnti. However, so makara-sankrAnti. So just now I have described what uttarAyaNa is, right? But let us see what makara-sankrAnti is. So makara-sankrAnti, so this is what the sky looks like. When you look at the sky, you see all these stars. It's full of stars. You see the planets, for example here Shukra, in the background of some stars. And there are patterns in the stars by which people remember the position of the stars relative to each other. So it is like a memory trick. So these are the constellations. And in this figure, for example, the planet Venus or Shukra is in the Dhanu constellation, and the sun is just in between the Makara constellation and the Dhanu constellation. All right. Now, based on the constellation, the path of the sun across the sky, or as path of the sun, moon, the grahas or planets across the sky, is divided into different zones, one for each constellation. One Makara, Dhanu, there is Kumbha, Meena, Mesha, and so on, Vrishabha. So this is what the sky looks like as you change the. So here you see. Let me move my picture away. Okay. So here you see the month. I am changing the month, and as I change the month, the position of the sun. You see the position of the sun has changed from the border of Makara to right now it's in Vrishabha. So the position of the sun and all the planets keep changing as the months roll by, before returning to the same old position every year at the same time, roughly the same time. Okay, so here we have the sun back to Makara, right? Exactly the boundary between Makara and Dhanu. So this zone is Dhanu and this zone is Makara. So this is makara-sankrAnti. All right. So when the sun crosses over into the Makara zone in the sky, which is just a memory aid for this bunch of stars you see in the sky, it is called makara-sankrAnti, and it is a punyakala. Every Sankranti is said to be a punyakala. All right. So you see here, Sri Venugopalan it was recently honored by the kAnchI-shankara-maTha, and the kAnchI-shankara-maTha observes uttarAyaNa on the right date, on December 22nd or something like that, and makara-sankrAnti is observed separately. All right, both of these are punyakalas only. You see, for example, the Kamakoti-Nilaya, it is a society of followers of Shankara-maTha, of KAnchI. They say uttarAyaNa Sankramana occurs on December 21st, 2025. So it happened on the day evening. All right. So the next day was the uttarAyaNa Punyakala. They did their tarpanas on the day and so on. And then what they did was they after this they started saying in their sankalpas uttarAyaNe instead of dakshinayane. So they showed that they understand the Shastras, they are able to look at the skies and so on, and that they are not idiots, that they are very principled people. This is very appreciable. So you see that not only the fact that the notion that uttarAyaNa starts around December 22nd agrees with what you see in the sky, what you experience in the day-to-day life. It agrees with the Shastras, and it agrees with the opinion of the respectable kAnchI-shankara-maTha. And now let me show you this person, Acharya vIranArAyaNa pANDurangi. So let me show you this. This person is a very noted scholar, mAdhva scholar, located in Bengaluru or Kalyanapuri. And he is a director and a professor in Karnataka Sanskrit University in this city. So you see, he happily endorses the observation of the kAnchI-maTha, and he as well agrees. So a prominent Madhva agrees that uttarAyaNa Punyakala has started on December 22nd, was on December 22nd, and he probably says, very likely says, uttarAyaNa in his daily Sandhya Vandanadi Sankalpas. And what about shrIvaiShNavas? Well, you know, shrIvaiShNavas don't wait for anybody. Around let us see, how many years has it been? 900 years ago, close to 900 years ago, there was a notable disciple of grand disciple of Ramanuja named viShNuchitta, a Purvashikha person. who commented famously on the viShNu-purANa, and he has already noted even at that time that uttarAyaNa has already is already starting before makara-sankramaNa during his time. Let me read out his statement. Okay, so here it is. Yattu jyotissiddhanta-siddham ujjainyam-udakkaष्ठा lankayam vishuvadvithihi tad-dakshine tavad-dakshinakaष्ठेति vidhitrayam. So he's talking about the topic of Cancer, the equator, and the tropic of Capricorn. The farthest locations of the sun in the sky, towards the south, towards the north, and in the middle. All right. Tattu mesha tula vishuvadayana karkatayana dvayasamvadi prakala vishayam. It was like this in the past, not in my day. And what is his day? It is 1150, around 1150. We'll see that. Tatha षट्त्रिंशत्शते कलिगताब्दे तथासीत्. It was like that around 800 years before my time. That's what he's saying, roughly. All right. Tatha षट्त्रिंशत्शते, samprati tu, now, samprati means now, चतुश्चत्वारिंशत्शते ते नक्रकर्कितुलामेषप्रदेशात् प्रागेव द्वादशे दिने अयनविषुवे प्रत्यक्षे दृश्येते. So he's saying we are able to see with our own eyes. For shrIvaiShNavas, pratyaksha is the highest pramana which can't be overridden by anything else. And we directly see that the before crossing over to the makara, which is nakra, 12 days before that, in fact, we are experiencing in 1150 AD the uttarAyaNa arambha. All right, so that's what he's saying. So let me show you this in this diagram. So this is about 600 years before the time of viShNuchitta. So you see, this is this red line here, that is the 90 degrees 270 degrees line, and that represents the actual start of uttarAyaNa. All right, so let me rewind the years and make the makara dhanu boundary to coincide with this. So let me go back to 251 years. Okay, and okay, so 250 AD is somewhat okay. Okay, so this is even better. All right, so 262 AD. All right, so during 262 AD, it was true that the sun crossed the sun, uttarAyaNa started when the sun crossed into makara rashi, makara constellation. All right, so this was the case in 262 AD. So that is roughly 800 years before the time of viShNuchitta. So let us add 800 years to this and see what happens. So that would be 1062. Since it is rough, this is right in the middle of Ramanuja's lifetime. Like he must have been around 50 years at this point. Let us add some more, 100 years maybe. And you see that the sun on the equinox, on the solstice day, which is when uttarAyaNa starts, is, let us see when the uttarAyaNa starts, because the 270 degree line is there. So let me backtrack a little bit. All right, so it happened on 14th December at that point in time, and let us see how long it takes to reach the makara constellation here. I will increase one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So exactly 12 days later, you have makara-sankramaNa. So that's what our shrIvaiShNava Acharya is saying. द्वादशे प्रागेव द्वादशे दिने अयनविषुवे प्रत्यक्षे दृश्यते. So at that point in time, our revered acharyas, shrIvaiShNava acharyas, observed that the uttarAyaNa arambha does not match the crossing over into makara. And since they were not idiots, they were already starting to say uttarAyaNe in their sankalpas. And when the makara-sankramaNa happened, of course, they recognized that, and they did the appropriate rituals for makara-sankramaNa. And so there is this nice unanimity among all the major mathas, classical mathas of South India, the Shankaras, the mAdhvas, and the rAmAnujiyas, at least the enlightened, thoughtful fraction of this population, that uttarAyaNa kala doesn't exactly match makara-sankramaNa at the current time. And furthermore, you see, viShNuchitta says, Atah tad ganitanurodhat itah purvamapi ayanadi parivrittih kadachit bhavedityanumiyate. All right. So he is noting that the precession of the equinoxes happens such that at some point in time the uttarAyaNa will be later or earlier, and so on. So all that is possible. If the gap between makara-sankramaNa and the actual uttarAyaNa time will keep increasing as the days go on, unless we are intelligent enough to adjust our marker for uttarAyaNa start. And I should note that Sri Venugopalan refers to someone called shrIramaNa-sharmA. He's a well-known agnihotri. He lives somewhere in Nerur Agrahara, near Karur, I think. He's a nakShatra-darsha. Let me read out his bio. shrIramaNa-sharmA is an agnihotri residing in shrI-shankara-matham of the Sri kAnchI-kAmakoTi-pITha, Nerur Karur district, Tamil Nadu, which is the adhishthanam of Sadashiva Brahmendra on the banks of Kaveri. On the side of traditional shastram, he studied Vyakaranam under Mahabaleshwara Bhatta, Mimamsa under Manidravada Shastrigal, Shulba Sutram under Sundararama Vajapayi, and he has strong research instinct in Vedangas, especially Shiksha and jyotiSha. And he has got a PhD. He is a convener of the annual Panchanga Sadas of the kAnchI-kAmakoTi-pITha. And he is honored by the Shankaracharya Swamigal with the title nakShatra-darsha. And he is a participant in many different kinds of sadasas. He has MA degrees in Sanskrit and linguistics and completed his PhD in Purva Mimamsa. And he has also contributed to Unicode majorly, and so by which we are able to type Vedic and Old Tamil and Old Malayalam characters on our computer right now, and awarded with the Unicode Bulldog Award. Right, so he is a very fine Shankaran intellectual, a great Vidwan, an Anushtata, an Agnihotri, and he has written an excellent article as to when uttarAyaNa starts. So I highly recommend reading this. Sankramana Anushtanam, whenever there is a Rashi Sankramana, whenever there is a Sayana Sankramana, they are all Punyakalas. You can do auspicious things on that time. And uttarAyaNa definition is as I stated. It's been written here in English. There's a Tamil version of this article as well. And he notes that this matter has been said in Siddhanta texts like Surya Siddhanta texts of all jyotisha acharyas such as Aryabhata, Bhaskara, Brahmagupta, and the Dharma Shastra Nibandhas such as Nirnaya Sindhu. Everyone who knows Siddhanta Jyotisham knows this. So, among people who observe nature, the wise people who study the Shastras and understand them, it is unanimously accepted that uttarAyaNa Kala precedes makara-sankramaNa during the current era. So, with this, I conclude this video. I hope this was useful, and I hope people who have been making a mistake in their daily acharanas, they fix them and be worthy inheritors of our wise ancestors' tradition. Thank you. Namo Namaha.